Okay, you're in COVID-19 lockdown, I'm in COVID-19 lockdown. You'd like to start learning a language, let's get started. But the question is, how should we begin? Well, I remember at school they spent 5 years teaching me French from the age of 11, and the first lesson, my teacher walked in the room and said, "Bonjour, je m'appelle," and I'm going to avoid his surname to protect the guilty. Now the question is, was that a good way to start? Was it a bad way to start? I wouldn't say it's the worst way you could start, but it's close. The military have a saying, time spent in reconnaissance is seldom wasted. What they mean by that is, if you're about to go into an important battle, before you start that battle, check your own strength and numbers, check the enemy's strength and numbers, check the lay of the land, check the conditions, because the smart choice might be to never fight that battle. The UK military also have a second principle they use. They say 10% of your total time on a project should be spent planning. And if we take that to its logical extension then, 10% of your planning time should be planning the plan. So if you want to start a language program today, let's start today by planning the plan. Now, what should that plan include? What should be the very first steps? Well, you could do a lot worse than to follow the total fluency method that we recommend to our clients and that we use ourselves. And before we start a program, we put 7 things in place. Number 1, pick the method you're going to use. There are lots of methods of learning languages, not just the one that you saw at school. Pick the one that works for you. 2, pick the level to which you're going to take the language, and I'm going to help you do that in a follow-up video by explaining those levels quite clearly to you. If you're in any way a normal person, before the end of your language program, you're going to end up struggling with your motivation a couple of times. And a clear goal set at the beginning and the plan that allows you to form will help enormously in those moments. 3, pick your speed. This is not the simple matter you might think. So in a follow-up video, I'll be explaining to you the various aspects of how to get that right. 4, choose your curriculum wisely. Most of the curriculums that you'll see are aimed at exams or exam-style learning, and that is not necessarily the best curriculum for you. I'll talk to you a bit about your choices on that front. 5, set up a tracking system that has the precision you need to, not that we can guarantee success, but to get as close as possible to guaranteeing success. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had over the years with people who've said, I tried to learn this language or that, but I failed. Did they fail? I'm not really comfortable with their description, because when they explain to me the program that they used, the plan, the method, I would say that they successfully executed a plan that was only ever going to fail. And setting up the right tracking system is the best way to avoid that situation. 6, get some resources in place that are going to help you know that you're going to reach your goal, give you a sense of accomplishment, give you a sense of progress, give you a sense of fun. This is a challenge as much of an emotional and motivational kind as it is of an academic kind. 7, understand the learning process before you begin. As I say, when I listen to many people talk to me about how they approach language learning, it just couldn't work. I couldn't make it work. There's no reason why they should be able to make it work. So you want to understand enough about language learning to give yourself the best chance of success. In the next 7 days, I'm going to release 7 videos. Each one's going to cover one of these aspects for you. So if you want to officially start your language learning program today, you can. And each of the next 7 days will be you putting together the pieces of your plan. Day 8, we're going to kick off and get learning. Now, so much for the theory. I said I would be learning Italian at the same time that I'm talking to you about this, showing you the challenges I really have, the solutions that I come up with, and how I managed to successfully get through my program. Let's just look at my language learning program in terms of those 7 aspects. So firstly, I'm going to be using the total fluency method. We created it because this is the best method we can think of to use to learn the language. 2, pick your level. I'll be learning Italian to at least an A2 level. I may go on from there, but at the moment my clear specific goal is A2. 3, pick the speed. So I'm going to complete this program in 120 days, and so you have one aspect of my speed there. I'm also going to only be using 60 hours total. That is 1/10 of the normal time recommended by language learning schools that it should take. 4, choose your curriculum wisely. In my case, because I'm doing this to help this Russian gentleman learn Italian, I have no choice as to which, or I have little choice as to which curriculum I use. So I'll be using one that's aimed at success in the CELI exam. It's not actually what I think would make the best curriculum if I were free to choose. 5, set up your tracking. Okay, so here are the things I'm tracking at the moment, and this will become more sophisticated over time. Firstly, I'm tracking how much I'm learning each day. Here is the first 16, 17 days of my program. Secondly, an education isn't what you learn, it's what you remember. That's especially true with languages. So I need to track the percentage of the material that I've learned that I can recall and track that every day all through the program to make sure that my recall percentage is sufficient to pass the exam. Thirdly, for the purposes of motivation, it's very important that I don't end up putting a lot more time into this than I have allowed in my mind. So I'm tracking the amount of time I'm putting in so I can make sure that I'm on track for the 60 hours that I want. 6, get some resources. So far I have translation resources, I have people who can help me with phrasing and idioms and the strange quirks of the Italian language, some people to talk to so I can practice that, some people to listen to so I can practice that. I have some online tests ready to go so that I can see how I'm measuring up against the exam standard. Basically, I have everything in place I need for a smooth program, and I got that in place before I began. Understand the language learning process. Okay, this is the 5th language that I'll be learning as an adult. I'm comfortable that I understand how to learn languages. So in the next 7 days, I'll be releasing the 7 videos covering each of these 7 aspects. Day 8, we start learning seriously because we've got a great plan in place. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.